Hi, this is Melody, and I'm here to teach you the prayer bear pattern from the prayer bear ministry. These are actually what the prayer bears look like when they're completed. The little heart is actually a pocket that puts a verse in the pocket. That's what that's intended for. The beads are actually a new part of the ministry. They're a new addition to the bear on the arm. And the beads go like this. The gold bead, there's a dark bead, there's a magenta bead, there's a white bead, and there's a green bead. The gold bead stands for God in all his glory, created the heavens and the earth. When God created the heavens and the earth, he also created us in his image. When he created us in his image, he also gave us the option of choosing him or not choosing him. In that respect, sin entered into the world. So when sin entered into the world, it separated us from God. When that separated us from God, God was not happy, and he wanted us to be with him. So he sent Jesus down as our perfect example of what love was all about. So Jesus came down as God and man and showed us what love was all about, showed us the healing, the miracles that Jesus did, what love was truly all about. And in doing so, Jesus died on the cross for your sins and my sins. So when Jesus did that, he washed us pure as snow. When he washed us pure as snow, all we had to do was ask for Jesus in our heart and for forgiveness of our sin. When we do that, growth starts in our lives. We start wanting to read our Bible. We start praying to God, reaching out to God, wanting to know God more by going to church, by fellowshipping with other Christians, doing good works for God. So that's where the beads come into the ministry. I also have corresponding verses that go with these beads, and some of the verses are actually about comfort, because the prayer bear is intended as a comfort ministry mostly. So we want to make sure that we cover all aspects of ministry when we are sending out these bears, because we are a Christ-centered ministry. So some of the verses that are included with the bears will be this: Psalms 18:30, 2 Samuel 22:2, Romans 3:23, Romans 5:8, John 1:12, 1 Peter 5:7, Jeremiah 29:11, and Romans 8:38 through 39. Some of the supplies that you will need are obviously yarn. My favorite yarn, because of the consistency of it, the softness of it, the pliability, is the I Love This yarn that you can find at Hobby Lobby. And the size, net weight, is 7 ounces, 199 grams. The yards are 355 or 325 meters. Now that is important because with the bear, you can actually crochet one bear with 2 skeins of yarn simultaneously together. The other thing that you're going to need is a crochet hook. Now my favorite one is this crochet light hook. I don't use a light ever, but what I do like is how it fits in my hand. So it's ergonomically easier to use, especially if you've been crocheting for a long period of time. So the size that we use for the prayer bear is the G 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is the best size I have found to use for this size bear. These are the black plastic eyes for the prayer bears. They're 24 millimeter black plastic eyes. You can find them on Amazon.com. Just look up the 24 millimeter black plastic eye. You place these on the bear once you have the head totally complete, the muzzle on, the ears on, the face all together. Because once you put these on and snap them in place, the white part goes on the back. These are not meant to come off. This is the preferred stuffing I use for the bears. The original polyfill, I use the big box, the 10-pound box, because of the quantity of bears that I make. The more that I can find, the better. I have tried other stuffing materials at other hobby places, and if it packs down too hard, it's not going to be a good stuffing for the bears, because they need to have a little sponge back to them. When they compact and they stay in a tight ball, that's not a good indicator of a good stuffing material. These are just a few of the verses that are actually used in the prayer bears. We use Jeremiah 29:11. We also use Romans 8:38 and 39. And then also on the other side of the heart is information about the prayer bearers and how I can be reached. Or some of them actually have our church ministry information. One of the other things that I love to do with the verses that we put into the prayer bear's pocket, in the heart-shaped pocket, is the confetti. The confetti actually goes in with the verse. And so when the person that receives the bear gets the bear and they take the verse out, the confetti obviously also comes out with it. It's just a fun little way to make people smile. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get right to crocheting the prayer bear. Now, if you've never crocheted before, what you're going to start with is a single chain. And for the very beginning people, really what I would suggest to you is not 2 strands at once. I would suggest that you try some of these stitches first with 1 strand, because 2 strands for somebody can be frustrating if they've never done it before. So that's my disclaimer. But anyway, without further ado, here it goes. So we're going to make a slip knot, and I usually wrap around my finger and slide it through so that it looks like this. And then I'm going to put my hook in there. When I do that, this is where the single chain comes in play. You're going to wrap the yarn around the hook. You're going to hold on to here with your thumb and your finger, and you're going to pull the crochet hook down so that you pull that through the loop. That is actually a single chain. There's 1 single chain. For the prayer bear, we need 2 single chains. So it's 1, 2. So there's 2 single chains for the first part of the head of the prayer bear. So now the most important stitch that we use in the prayer bear is a single crochet. So the single crochet starts like this. We're going to stick the head of the crochet hook in the second single chain on this, which is right here. And when we do that, we're going to slide the yarn over the hook. We're going to pull it through that first loop, which is your single chain. Now we've got 2 loops in our hook. So this is going to make your first single crochet. You're going to wrap your yarn around again, and you're going to slide it through both of those loops. That is your first single crochet. For the prayer bear, we need 6 in the first row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is actually the first row of your prayer bear head. Okay, so where we're going to take it from here is this. We need to mark our rows. So what we do then is we take a different colored piece of yarn that is probably about 24 inches long. It can be however long you like. The longer sometimes the better, because depending on how big your pattern is for that specific part, you're going to need a long piece. So I put it right in there to mark the row. So on the second row of the prayer bear head, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet in each stitch, which is going to be 12 stitches. So we're going to go in the first stitch, we're going to go under both of those stitches, and we're going to pull out, we're going to do 2 single crochet. There's 1, 2, and just make sure that all your yarn is on the hook. 3, 4, and you just want to make sure that your pieces from underneath don't get caught in your stitch. Again, underneath those 2 pieces, there's 6, and make sure you have enough slack in your yarn, because you're going to be needing lots of slack so that you don't tighten your stitches too tight. 7, 8, and make sure all the pieces are on there, because that can be a little frustrating. 9, oops, see, I didn't get it. So that's one of the things I want to point out to you is with somebody that's new at crocheting, this can be a little frustrating, and it might be just one less thing that we need to battle with when we're first starting out. So I've gotten around to where my marker is, and that's 12 stitches right there. And you count by looking at the top, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So then you take your marker and you actually place it over the back side onto the front so that it marks the next row. So the next row of the prayer bear head, row number 3, is 2 crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the second stitch. So that's going to look like this: 2 single crochet, and again, make sure you have enough yarn. I like to have a lot looseness to it so that I can control the tension on my yarn. So it's 2 in the first single crochet, 1, so there's 3 stitches, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, 1, 1, 2. Again, make sure you get enough out. 1, 1, 2, 1. So when you go around on the third row, what should actually be happening is you're expanding it out by 6 stitches. So the third row should actually be 18. And this is really important that you count your stitches, especially the first time out. And I actually count every single time, because if I'm off by a stitch somewhere, it may mean ripping the whole pattern out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm also going to do the next row, which I always put you're going to start with 2 single crochet always in the first stitch, 1, 2, and then it's 2 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And make sure you grab both pieces of yarn. Okay, so there's 2. Now if you've noticed, the first round was 6 single crochet. The second was 12. It was 2 stitches in each. The third row was 2 single crochet, then 1 single crochet all the way around. The fourth row is 2 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochet in each next stitch. It's going to progress right around to 6 single crochet. So for this row, it's 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so what that means is that at this end of this row, this is the end of the row, you're going to end up flipping this over. But again, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So in this row, we're going to be doing 3 after our first 2 stitches. So it's 2 single crochet, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And always make sure that you've got enough leeway in your yarn so that you have the right tension so that your stitches don't change in size. So it's 2, and always check to make sure that the yarn is all on your hook. 1, 2, 3. And sometimes I slip a stitch there. So I go back through, pull that through. So here's my 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 2 in this stitch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. One, two, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ooh. That does happen periodically, so don't be panicked on it. Just go back through and catch it again. 2, 3. So this actual one should be 30 stitches, and a lot of times you know that you did it right because your last stitches are correct. So like I knew that I needed 3 stitches, 3 single crochet stitches, and that is exactly what happened. So this should be 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we got our 30 stitches in there, single crochets. So on the 4th row, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th row, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and we're going to be doing 4 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that row number 6 looks like when it's completed is this. Okay, and that is actually 36 stitches. All right. And it was 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 4 in the next stitch, and then 2 in the next stitch, and then 4 right around the whole circle till you get to the end, which should be 36. So the next row is going to be 5 single crochet, but you're going to start with 2 single crochet, and then your 5, 1, and make sure your yarn is completely on your hook. 1, 2, no, don't ever let it bunch up like that, because it means that it's not all on your hook. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that looks like that. And I'm just going to work my way around the entire loop, and I'll meet you when we get there. So this is what it looks like after your 7th row. And this is 2 single crochet in the first stitch and 5 single crochet in the next corresponding 5 stitches. When you work that around, that should equal out to 42 stitches. So the next one is going to be 2 single crochet in the first stitch and then 6 single crochet. This is as big as we're actually going to get using this part of the pattern, but then we're going to change it up a little bit in a couple rows beyond. So we'll start out with 2 single crochet, in the first stitch, and then 6, 1 in this stitch, 1 in this stitch, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again, make sure that all the yarn stays on your hook, because with 2 strands, it's a little bit more complicated. So we have 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to put 2 single crochet in the next one, and 6 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you get like me after a while after doing these, you can do this obviously in your head, and it will go so much faster when you're really not having to pay attention to the pattern because you know it so well. The head alone should take, initially it may take a while, but you should be able to get down to maybe 30 or 20 minutes to finish the head. So I'm going to crochet around the rest of the head, or the rest of this row, excuse me, and I will show you what it looks like in a second. Okay, so this is what row 8 completed looks like. All right, and this is 2 single crochet in the first stitch and 6 single crochet in the next corresponding stitches. Okay, for the next 2 rows, we're going to just do a single crochet in each stitch around. So we're not adding any stitches to this. We're going to wrap our marker over so we can see the beginning of the end of each row, and we're just going to do a single crochet in each corresponding stitch for the next 2 rows. So when I have this complete, I will show you what that looks like, and it will only take me a second due to modern technology. Yay! So this is what it looks like after we've completed the 10th row of the Prayer Bear head. He's starting actually to get a curve to his head, which is great. And this is where we put in a new stitch, kind of. It's just the same stitch, but there's a couple different aspects of it, so that this is going to make the cheeks puff out a little bit. So how this starts is, and we're on row number 11, okay? So the first stitch is 2 single crochet, 1, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2 in the next stitch, and then 1. So what this is right here is it's a succession of 3 times that we're doing 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And then after that we're going to do 18 single crochets, and then we're going to do it again because this is actually going to make his little cheeks puff out a little bit, just enough to make him look cute. Okay, so where we're at right now is that I just did the 18 stitches beyond the segment of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, which is 3 segments of 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, and the next stitch 3 times, and then our 18, and then we're going to do it again. We're going to, because this is the other cheek. So we're putting in 2 single crochet, 1 in the next stitch, 2, see 2, 1, 2, 1, and a lot of times I will go back and recount just to make sure that I did what I said I was going to do, and do the succession of 3 times, which is, you can see it when you're used to looking at it, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And then we're going to do 18 again, and that should bring us right around to this part, which is the end of the row. So this actually is row number 11, and we're going to be finishing this up with 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I wish I could sing, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's so great when a plan comes together and it does exactly what you want it to do. So we have just completed row number 11. We're going on to row number 12 here, and this is another just a little bit different variation of the last row, where this is going to be 2 single crochet in the first stitch, then 2 individual single crochets in the next 2 stitches, then 2 in the next stitch, 2 single crochet, 2. I'll show you what it looks like. because it's a succession of 3, so it's 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. So that is 3 times over. It's 2 stitches in the first stitch, then 2 individual stitches, 2 in the next stitch, 2 individual stitches, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and 2. So this whole block is one little pattern, which is this little pattern times 3. Okay, so if that makes it easier. Then again, 18 stitches, and I'll meet you on the other side of this so that you don't have to watch all this. So technically we're halfway around this row. We are in row number 12. I just did my 18 stitches on that row, and I should be exactly at the halfway point. Again, we're going to start with that stitch again where it's 2, 1, 1, and you do that 3 times. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and one more block of it. 2. Make sure you have all the yarn on the hook. 1, 1, and just re-look at it to make sure that everybody's happy and that you got it all in there. And you can see, I can, and you will too. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, so then it should be 18 stitches, and you should be to the end of the row. All right, so we just completed that part of that row, which is row number 12. And that's actually pretty much the last of the hardest part of the pattern. Okay, and if you notice, you've got the curved part of the head. It's just a little bit more shaped, but it's subtle. So the next 2 rows that I'm going to be doing, which is 13 and 14, are just single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of that one. So here I am coming around the end of row number 14 with these single crochets. And when we get onto row 15, this is where we actually start doing the single crochet decrease, which is going to look like this, because you may not know what a decrease is. It actually takes 2 stitches and puts them in 1. So we put the hook through the first stitch. Now I've put my marker over because I started right in the first stitch. You slide it into the first stitch, put the yarn over. Now I'm going to go into the next stitch as well before I pull this together, and I'm going to have a total of 3 stitches on my hook. 1, 2, 3. So what I want to do is then wrap the yarn over the hook, slide through all 3. That just combined 2 stitches together. So in row 15, you're going to do a single crochet decrease, and then you're going to follow it with 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you can hear, that's my dog Scooter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Scooter is a pug, and Scooter, come here, Scooty. Can you see Scooty? There he is. There's a Scooty. Okay, so anyway, hi Scooter. We are going to do another single crochet decrease in the next stitch. So in this row 15, it says single crochet decrease, then 8 single crochets, and then followed by another single crochet decrease. So it looks like you put your hook in the stitch, pull out the yarn, go into the next stitch, pull the yarn. You've got 3 stitches on here, 1, 2, 3. Put your yarn over the hook, pull through all 3, and as you can see, there's this stitch and this stitch are combined together. Then we do our 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I just did that so fast that you probably didn't even see it. That is now a single crochet decrease right here. I got my 3 strands, 3 stitches over there. Pull through. And once you get doing this, it'll be just as easy for you as it is for me. It's not as hard as people think it is. But I'm going to meet you at the end of this row so that you're not watching just dead air. So this is row 15 that we just finished. Okay, we had our single crochet decrease, or some people actually call it a single crochet together. So I've just gotten used to calling it a single crochet decrease just because that's the way my mind works. But anyway, we come around, and the telltale sign that you've done it right is that when you do your single crochet decrease or together, whatever you want to call it, your last stitches should be in correspondence with what the pattern was, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can count around to make sure that you have the right amount of stitches, which is 54. And I always recommend doing that just because you never know in the middle of the pattern if you accidentally forgot to do a single crochet decrease or together stitch. So the next one, we're flipping our marker over again, is again a single crochet decrease, which is the 2 stitches together, 3 stitches on the hook, pull through, and then we're going to do 7 single crochet in the next 7 stitches. And as you've noticed, the progression of the pattern is it was 8, now it's 7, and then it will be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then you'll wrap it up with a regular row of single crochet around. So here's single crochet decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we do a single crochet decrease again, which is the 2 stitches on the hook, which is 3 loops all together, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's your 7, and your single crochet decrease is 2 stitches combined together and through all those loops. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go around, and then I will meet you on the end of this. Finished row number 16, and that was 2 single chain together, single chain 7. The ending stitch should be 48 stitches in that row. So then we slide our marker back over. We're going to do a single crochet decrease or together in the next stitch, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you hadn't heard, that was Scooter in the background with his little snort because he's a pug. So then we're going to do this single crochet decrease again or together, which is in 1 stitch and in the next stitch, and you've got 3 again on your hook. Pull it through all 3 and do 6 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to finish the row and I will meet you around again on the other side of this row. All right, so we just completed the single crochet decrease or the single crochet together and then 6 stitches. This next row we're going to do 5. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to speed this along a little bit just because I know this gets monotonous for you to watch. So it's single crochet decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'll meet you around the end of this row. So this is actually the completion of row number 18, which is 2 single crochet together, and then 5 single crochet. So that looks like this. The single crochet together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the next single crochet decrease together. So the next row obviously will be single crochet together or decrease, and then 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do that right around the whole circle, the whole row again, and just make sure that you have enough yarn. 1 single crochet together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to complete the row and I'll meet you around the other side again. So I just completed row 19, which was single chain decrease and then 4 regular single crochet. Now that should average out to 30 stitches. So when you count around your row, it should equal out to 40 stitches. And again, the way to make sure that that was correct was when you get to that last single crochet decrease or together, then there should be 4 corresponding single crochet stitches that go along with it. So the next row is going to be single crochet decrease or single crochet together. And again, make sure that you have both strands of yarn on your hook for each stitch. And you got the 3, and you're going to pull all through all 3. And then you're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. So this is row 20, and it is single crochet together or decrease, and then 3 individual single crochets in the next 3 corresponding stitches. And I'll meet you around the other side of the row. Okay, so we just finished row 20, which was the single crochet together or single crochet decrease and then 3 stitches. That should make your stitches down to 24. So the next row is going to be single crochet together or decrease and then single crochet 2 stitches. There's only one more row after this one, so that again is going to look like this: single crochet together. Make sure you go through all the loops, and there's your single crochet decrease. And again, make sure you get both strands of yarn. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and then you're going to do a single crochet decrease again. And again, that looked like that. Sorry, I'm pulling on my yarn. 1, 2. So again, I'm going to finish the round and I'll meet you on the other side, and then we'll do one more row, which will just be single crochet all the way around. You'll notice that each row gets less and less time to make. So that's actually kind of fun too, because it means you're getting to the finished product. So we just did row number 21, which was single crochet decrease and then 2 single crochet, and the very last row of the head is just a single crochet around the entire portion, which will equal out to 18 stitches. So I'm just going to do that, and then I will show you what that looks like completed, and then we've got the head completed. Okay, so where we're at right now is we finished the last row, which is round 22 or row 22, and that was just a single crochet around the entire portion, which was 18 stitches. So to finish the head off, we're going to actually put what we call a slip stitch in the last stitch, which you put your hook into the stitch of the next row. I've pulled my marker over for the last row, and I put my hook through the first stitch of the last row, and I'm going to pull 2 strands of yarn again through everything. So then I'm going to pull this down and tighten it, and I'm just going to make this a big loop like this. And this is where I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut a long strand. I want it to be, probably about 3 inches long. And I'll cut that, and I'll slide through the portion of the yarn that I'm not going to be using anymore. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crochet hook, and I'm going to put it through the next stitch, the very first stitch again, and I'm going to pull these 2 strands through. Okay, both strands, not just one. So now they're coming out the front. Now what I want to do is I can get rid of the marker. I don't need that anymore. So I have these hanging out the front. So now I'm going to pull this stitch through back the other side so that it actually looks like it blends into the pattern. Okay, so there it is wrapped around. Now I'm going to go on the inside, and I'm going to weave this through so that it blends in. I leave a tail on each of my parts so that if something unravels in the bear, you've got a little extra yarn to work with. So I pull it through one group of stitches so that it's kind of hidden. Then I go down the next row underneath, and I wedge my hook in, and I do another one, and one more, just to get it away from the finish line, so that if it does kind of show, it's more up into the actual head. And sometimes I'll actually even do 4, and I'm just kind of weaving through so that they don't see it. All right, so then it looks like this. All right, here is the top part, here is the bottom part. Okay, there's the top, and I just make sure that that kind of looks like the stitches are somewhat even. There's a little bit of a difference in the stitch, and that's okay because that actually shows me where the back is of the head, so that when I'm putting this together, this actually goes in the back and people don't see it. But it's a very minor difference, okay? So thank you for watching.